Printing a silk screen, you will need several supplies: a squeegee, a marker, a craft knife, a pencil, a silk screen frame. You will need ink and masking tape, a piece of cardboard, some freezer paper, newspaper about an inch and a half thick. You will need a design that is drawn on paper actual size. It needs to be a stencil where things do not touch so that you can cut it apart and not lose the insides, and the ink will be able to go through the openings. If you trace over your design with a black marker, it will be able to see much better the areas that you need to cut. You cut the areas using a craft knife very carefully and do not pull the knife towards you. Any small areas inside of circles and things, or like letters, like the inside of an E, you can save that little piece and lay it inside after you have placed it on the paper you're going to print. You can then place a silk screen frame directly on top of that will hold that in place. You need an inch and a half of newspaper underneath the cushion, as you see here. If you have no one to hold the frame, you may use C-clamps on the sides to hold it together while you print. If you're printing on fabric, you will need textile ink. The ink is water-based. You place the ink using a popsicle stick or a brush on one edge of the frame. You then hold the squeegee in your hand and pull it directly towards you at a 45-degree angle to force the ink through the openings in the stencil. You do that on the whole area of the silkscreen drawing on the frame. This will adhere the stencil to the frame. After you've printed, the excess ink may be returned to the jar. This is a picture of the printing on paper. This is what your screen will look like after you've printed. If you print on fabric, you must place newspaper inside the fabric so it does not bleed through. As you can see, the openings, that is where the ink goes through. And the next picture will show this is how it printed on a t-shirt. After you are finished, you peel off the stencil and you throw that away, and you run the whole silkscreen frame and everything under this faucet to remove all of the ink. Usually you don't need soap, usually just a sponge will be fine. You need to do it quickly. If it dries in the screen is ruined. As you can see here, the screen is clean. If you hold the screen up to the light, you can tell that it's ready. Thank you for watching another little lesson from Miss Trice's art class on the art of silkscreen printing using a paper stencil.